Hello and welcome to Parsha Pulse Episode 2. This week's Parsha is Parshas Noach, and it tells the story of how just 10 generations after Adam and Eve, the world had totally lost all sense of morality and ethics and was totally spiraling out of control. The only person who had managed to remain righteous was Noach, and God spoke to him and instructed him to build an ark because he's planning on bringing a flood that will hit the restart button on the entire world and destroy everything. God instructed him to build that ark slowly in the hope that the people living around Noah would notice what he's doing, ask him about it, hear about the flood, and hopefully change their ways and repent. Unfortunately, that did not happen, and by the time the flood came about, it was just Noah and his family who entered the ark, together with one pair of every non-kosher animal species and 7 pairs of all kosher animal species. They all hung out in this ark throughout the duration of the flood, at the end of which the ark rested on the peak of Mount Ararat, and Noah sent out the dove, who by his third time going out didn't return, which was a sign that it had found a good habitat and the world was once again habitable. God instructed Noah and his family to leave the teva and the ark, and upon leaving the ark, Noah built an altar and offered some offerings to God, and God promised him that never again would he destroy the world with a flood, and he blessed Noah that his descendants should multiply and fill the entire earth. Noah then planted a vineyard, he made wine, and got extremely drunk in his tent. One of his sons found him and was treated him extremely disrespectfully. Then he told the other sons who came in and took proper care of their father in his state of drunkenness. His father then found out about what happened once he woke up, and he blessed the sons who had treated him well and cursed the son who had treated him extremely disrespectfully. The Torah then describes how generations later the world got together to build a city and a tower to rebel against God, and through the tower somehow wage war upon God. God saw that though they were being rebellious towards him, they were actually treating each other very nicely, so he decided that because of their unity he wouldn't destroy them, he just dispersed them throughout the world. The Torah then describes the 10 generations from Noah to his descendant Abram, who married Sarai, later known as Abraham and Sarah, our forefathers who take the limelight in next week's Parsha. That is the summary of the Parsha, and now for the insight. One of the interesting things that God instructs Noah to construct in his ark is a window. And that's kind of funny because obviously he would make a window in the ark. So why did God feel it important to actually put that in the instructions? I read a beautiful answer that the living conditions in the ark were, if you think about it, pretty harsh. It literally smelled like a zoo in there. There was an entire zoo in there. And it was very cramped quarters. There was an entire floor dedicated to garbage, which probably smelled pretty bad. And they also had to get along with each other throughout the long period of time they were there. And the experience must have been difficult unless they took the time to look out the window and see what the alternative is and put things into the proper perspective. They were actually surviving what was going on outside, and they were the lucky ones. And that was true about them, but it's also true about us, because throughout our lives we tend to get caught up in petty issues that we blow out of proportion, and we think things are so terrible for us. And if we would just look out our figurative windows from our small little issues and try to look at the bigger picture and put things into the proper perspective, we will have a much healthier and happier approach to everything happening around us, to ourselves and in our lives. And hopefully we should remember that next time someone makes us a little upset, or we're frustrated about the train that we missed or whatever it is, and look out our narrow windows into the broader perspective of our lives and the world around us. And hopefully with that mindset we should have a great Shabbos, and looking forward to next week.